if you're a homeowner or even just a renter, make sure you're spending, once or twice a year and going through your house and just taking care of those little items and checking all those little things out to make sure that you can prevent household accidents. Sometimes it's just the smallest little thing, the smallest little detail that can cause injury or even a fatal accident. As an inspector, I'm doing inspections. We go and we have to look at fire jobs all the time, and it's sad. And I just want to make sure, and I want to throw out a few tips. Just if you're got a free time on a Saturday morning or on a Sunday, go check these things out. Just spend a little extra time, make sure your house is safe, make sure everything's taken care of. And so I'm going to run through a few items here. I've also got it in the blog, so I'll put the link to the blog itself with a few little checklist items. Just go through, make sure your house is clean and safe, and that your family knows what to do in case of a fire. So first off, scalding, right? Make sure your hot water tank is not turned up too high. I know sometimes, I feel like I turn on hot water and I'm like, dang, that is hot. And so you can go down to your hot water tank and you can adjust that temperature. Usually 120 degrees is max. So if you're much over than that and you've got young kids, just be careful, right? You don't want them to get scalded or burned. The big one obviously is smoke detectors and CO detectors, right? The batteries go off at 2 a.m. They wake you up. You want to throw the thing across the room. I get it, right? But just make sure that they are up and running. If they wake you up and you take that one down, go get a new battery and put it back in. There's fires that happen all the time, and if maybe that smoke alarm was put in, if the battery was running, if they were all hooked up, it could save a life. So it's worth it. I call it cheap insurance, right? It's in the grand scheme of things, $30 or whatever it costs for a smoke detector is pretty cheap if it saves a life or saves someone from getting hurt, really hurt from, some type of injury or whatever. Furnaces, right? You want to make sure you're checking for gas leaks, change your furnace filter. So if you throw your furnace filter in there and they tell you to change it once a month and you do it once every 6 months, it's going to build up so much dust and dirt in that filter that the fan is going to overwork, right? Because it can't pull air. And then your furnace is going to break down on you. It's going to cost you more money down the road. And it also is not able then to continually clean the air the way it should, right? Because it can't even hardly pull air. So make sure you're changing those out. I can tell you right now, I forget. I try to do it once every 2 months at minimum. But sometimes it does take longer, but just, keep it in the back of your brain. Change that furnace filter out. You want clean air in your house. If you're an allergy type person, you don't want that stuff to just keep cycling through your house, right? So make sure you change your furnace filter. Try to get your furnace professionally cleaned once a year. So you're checking for gas leaks. If you got a fireplace, your furnace, anything else, maybe you got a gas dryer. Just always check those items. Make sure the hoses aren't kinked. That's just little stuff, right? It only takes one kid to run in and ram into the dryer, and all of a sudden it just kinked it just enough to make it pop, right? It just takes these weird little things. So just double check them. Chimneys, you got a wood fireplace. Always be cleaning that thing, and I assume you know that if you got a fireplace, you got to clean that chimney out, but just make sure you do it regularly. That way you don't have any issues down the road. Let's see here, AFIs, GFIs, right? Got an older house, maybe your panel's a little older, your electrical panel. It doesn't hurt to go throw in GFI outlets or AFI breakers. I know they get expensive, but again, it's a safety thing. Especially if your house is like knob and tube or something, change that panel out, put in an up-to-date panel. Electrical fires do happen. And the last thing I would want to see is any type of electrical fire in your house or anybody else's house. And kind of the last big thing is actually take time to talk to your family about what they do if there's a fire. I have 2 young kids, and I don't know, once or twice a year we'll be sitting at the dinner table and I'm just like, okay, what do you do in case of a fire? Stop, drop, and roll. Don't open the door if there's smoke coming in. We have ladders, rope ladders in their closets. It's like, you open the window, you throw the rope down, you scream as loud as you can, you try to wake people up, you get out of the house, do the things that you need to do to get out, right? And so have those conversations as a family, as a couple, just know where to go and what to do. It's crazy how often there are fires. I mean, the city I live in is not that big. I mean, it's bigger, but it's not that big. And there are fires all the time. I have to see, just in my area where I do inspections, I have to see houses all over the place that have fires in them. And it's just, the houses are outdated. They're old. They have old electrical. They didn't take care of the furnaces. Dryer ducts, right? Clean out your dryer duct. And did you know that if you get your dryer duct full of lint, it can become a fire hazard? I mean, if that thing's not clean, and one, it's not pushing out all of that moist air, so it's hard for your dryer to dry clothes. And two, it's a fire hazard. You can start a fire with lint. Lint's like, goes up in flames. I mean, it's a good fire starter. So as a homeowner, myself, someone with small kids, as an inspector, I would just ask you to just live safe.